Hey guys, I just wanted to do a little, mainly kind of a mail call video um, to show you some things that we'll be seeing upcoming in upcoming shaves. Some stuff, most of this stuff is stuff I just recently got in, but some of it's stuff I haven't used yet, and I'm looking forward to trying it soon. So we will start with the software. I had to try Fine Accoutrements, the new Crope base that they have, that they started producing at the end of 2020. Their factory that was making that classic hard puck that performs so well, that I'm such a huge fan of, that factory shut down, probably due to financial problems because of COVID, the pandemic, and so Fine had to figure out something else. And Barrister Unity or something, I believe, is the parent company. That they also make Goodfellas Smile and maybe another soap, and they are apparently the people who are doing the new Crope from Fine Accoutrements. And this is kind of an unboxing. There's all kinds of text written on the box here. It's kind of a flimsy box, but and in a way I think they're charging $27 or $25 or something for this new Crope, and I would really rather them save me a couple of bucks and get rid of this box. But anyway, that's what it is. More on that later. Yeah, and they even said manufactured for Fine Accoutrements LLC, Fairport, New York. European agent is the Barrister Unity SRL in Italy. Latigo is the one, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the one I chose because this is one that Fine only had in the aftershave splash back when they did the classic pucks, and they made it into a soap. And so this scent is only available in the Crope portion in the soap format. It's quite soft, a little softer, and it would be a cream. I could easily press down. Now I like the scent a lot. KNIZE 10 is a fragrance from another company, and that's the inspiration behind this one. I believe talc, diesel, and one other really cool thing, maybe leather. And I really enjoy the smell. It makes me want to try the cologne that this is a copy of. And sure, for the most part, Fine Accoutrements does copy existing well-liked popular fragrances and put them in their classic pucks, is what they did. And then they're doing the same thing. They're taking those same oils and moving them over to this format, I'm sure. And they call this the 20th century. They're putting that text. And one of the things I liked about Fine was the kind of the classic design. You've got this kind of a vintage looking guy. We're not talking about tons of colors or anything, and so the hard pucks, even the design of those boxes, had this great vintage look to them. But then they get this, it's like this is just my opinion, but it's like a high schooler trying to use as many fonts as they can, you know, because they just got onto their computer and they're playing around. And so it's a mismatch, really, to the kind of the vibe that I'm usually kind of used to with the Fine. But hey, it's his business; he can do whatever he wants to, right? And unfortunately, Fine did copy the design of Spearhead Shaving's travel safety razor case, and I don't like that at all. I think that's kind of underhanded. And so I'm in the midst of deciding what to do about Fine products. But you can't argue that those classic pucks are excellent performers. And we're going to check and see. I had to order this and just try it out, because I have been up to now a big Fine Accoutrements supporter, and so I wanted to bring this cream to you guys. I call it a cream, but I guess it's a crope. Bring it to you guys, and we'll just see how it performs, especially compared to the hard pucks, right? Now, in a thread, as I was reading on some online forum about Fine and their changes, somebody brought up this name, Brito. It says down here, ACH period, and then BRITO. Now, with the period after the ACH, in Portuguese or Spanish or whatever language we're talking about here from Portugal, I assume it's Portuguese, right? Maybe that's an abbreviation like Mr. or Professor or something like that I just don't know about. And I may be really boogering up the pronunciation there. But that's the business name apparently. And then Mogno, and again, any of these foreign words, I don't know a lick about Portuguese, except a few things I've heard from in terms of watching mixed martial arts with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But this is a bar of soap, and it does say shaving soap. Mogno translates the mahogany. It's mahogany, and so there is a scent of the kind of the wood nature to it. It's a glycerin and coconut style soap, and so I don't think it's going to quite have that luxurious performance that you get when you use tallow, and sometimes those ingredients like palmate and coconut oil and stuff, sometimes they affect the performance a little bit. They make it seem like one of those older type soaps instead of the newer ones that are really luxurious and creamy. I like the scent, kind of a cologne type scent, and there's a light woodiness to it. It's not, sometimes mahogany is used when you're talking about a deep wood note, and that's not coming across yet in this puck here. In the ingredients, the first ingredients are potassium palmate, sodium palmate, potassium stearate, potassium palm kernelate, and then you get to water, sodium stearate, sodium palm kernelate, glycerin. So, there's just a lot of that type ingredient in here. Some shavers even have said, hey, those types of ingredients, coconut oil, that sort of thing, are things that I'm not going to use in a shaving soap anymore, and make sure I choose from ones that don't have that. But we're going to give it a good try. The website I found this on just had it on sale for, I think, $6 or $7. And so I said, hey, it's a hard soap. Maybe it'll last a super long time. Maybe it'll have mahogany. I like that. So maybe it'll be good. So we're going to try that sometime soon. Mahogany from Brito. And obviously, as a bar of soap, you could go a couple different ways with it. I don't know, traditionally in Portugal, with users of this, I don't know if they just kind of make a froth, with their hands and then wipe it on their face, whether they treat it like a shave stick and rub the end of it on their face and then face lather from there. Or you could put it in your palm and do like a palm lather where you load with it in your palm with the brush. Now there were some instructions in the back. It said apply to wet skin and rinse. So so that's not much in terms of instruction. They have a lot of text here because they're doing it in a few different languages. I don't see too much. I might maybe scan in some of this and see if I can get a translation here on the longer text, because they don't have that in English. All right, so Mogno, mahogany from Brito. And then the last soap that I've recently obtained is one that I figured I was probably going to get at some point. I got somebody got this and never actually used it, but I didn't actually buy it from Barrister. And man, I found somebody who probably smelled it, but then decided it was not for them. This is The Full Measure of Man by Barrister and Mann. Tobacco. If you look on his website right now, he tells the story about how Barrister and Mann really hasn't delved into the tobacco type scent. It's not because they don't like that. Will has talked about a couple of tobacco scents that he has really thoroughly enjoyed, like certain cigars or whatever, but he was just focused on so many other things, and they finally decided to put together a tobacco scent, and this is the one they have brought to us, and it is rich. The website said that it was designed to kind of remind you of rich tobacco and leather chairs and elegant rooms, kind of man caves from hundreds of years ago in some kind of mansion. I have been to see the Biltmore Estate in North Carolina, and I love the one room that's kind of the man area, and it's got leather and dark upholstery and books and rifles and pool tables, and it's this great man lounge cigar room kind of place. Maybe a little cognac on the table next to you, or whiskey or brandy or whatever you like. I think that whole thing is what he wants to be wrapped up in this soap. When I first smell it, that tobacco, a deep, sweet, rich tobacco, does jump out at you. And then something that kind of rides on top of it is chocolate. But I think that's just that mousse de Saxe, maybe part that's a part of this scent, maybe a little bit of the vanilla, maybe there's some of that in there. That's mixing with the tobacco to make me think of chocolate. I'm sure that wasn't the intention. And so if I think about it a little more critically, that first impression of chocolate does give way to if I think about just a really sweet, thick, rich cigar type tobacco scent, then this just nails it. It nails it. And so many of the other tobacco scents out there don't go as sweet as this, and so that's why it might be a little out of the ordinary. But I am going to look forward to trying this guy out. Some people are, you can see online how they're trying it. Oh, it's not for me. And so this Barrister and Mann sometimes puts out divisive scents that just don't work well, because he's adventurous, and when he hits big. And many of his scents are wonderful to so many people, to a large majority of people, but not all of them. And there are some that he's just stepping out on faith to wonder if it's how it's going to be received. Night Music was one of those, and it was a very special scent to him, and I was fortunate enough to get some, and I'm so glad I did, because he decided not to make it anymore a while back because of the response, and it's a wonderful scent that I just thoroughly enjoy. Yeah, it's weakening a little bit. I'm probably getting a little nose blind to it since I'm sucking on it right now, but I'm really looking forward to it. Very sweet. If you don't like sweet scents, then maybe this one isn't for you, but I can definitely see enjoying that one, and just having that scent take me and put me in that kind of room, in just like a mental travel, sort of way, a really cool way. All right, that's the software that we're going to be upcoming. I can't decide. It's hard for me to decide what I'm going to shave with next. We've got this little guy. It's a vintage razor, probably 100 years old. Probably a little bit more than 100 years old by the dating that I was able to research. And then this guy, which is not 100 years old. This is a gem damaskin razor, probably made in 1916 to 1919. It's a single edge, and this is a timeless I mainly bought it for this open comb head. I got a good deal for it, and that's also why I bought it. It's a kind of a Franken-razor. It's got a stainless steel cap. That's the matte finish. It's not been polished. And then I have the titanium handle. I bought it mainly because I was confident I would enjoy the bronze base plate, because I have the bronze solid bar. It's a 38 gap, 0.38 gap. This is a 0.78 gap, and it's the open comb. And it may be too much for me. The open comb of the 68 in the stainless steel geometry is too much for me. But I'm curious about this guy. And so I went ahead and bought it. And then I did not, I have not had a chance to try any of the timeless titanium products. And sure enough, this just feels a lot lighter than it should feel. And so I thought it'd be a great way to try that as well. Now, the stainless steel top cap here was not designed to work with this cap, the base plate here perfectly, and this handle. In fact, if I don't have this little nylon washer right there, the whole thing does not screw together properly. It doesn't screw tight all the way, and there's a little bit of looseness there that you would not want to shave with it. It's expecting, of course, a little taller head, and then they didn't drill down into the titanium far enough for that bolt there to go all the way in properly. And so by using this nylon washer, it's not just to prevent the handle from making a mark on the bottom of the base plate like some people like to use it for. It's to actually make up and fill in that gap so that the razor can be used. Obviously, I'll be able to switch this base plate out and put it in my full bronze timeless razor if I want to. But it'll be fun to try out this as a current configuration, see how I like that. This is probably what I want to use next because I'm very curious about this razor. Again, that's the timeless 78 open comb. Bronze is the main factor here, the bronze base plate. Let me just show that to you since in a little bit more detail. And it does turn out that it seems that the stainless steel head geometry does work with, they kept the angles and stuff the same, it seems. And this guy looks terrific. He's been polished. Just a beautiful piece. And it's got the etching on the bottom to tell you the gap. You kind of don't need to know the gap because if it's open comb, it's the 78. Currently, the bronze only has the 38 and the 78. 38's if it's a solid bar, it's a 38. If it's open comb, it's a 78. And it's just a clunky razor design, and I like it. I really enjoy the shave of the 38. It's kind of a mid-range. I get a nice close shave, and it's really pretty comfy. It's not super smooth, but that's okay because I get a great shave from it. I might try, I'm sure I will, try this titanium handle on my other razors, my stainless steel heads, see how it works. If I love it, then maybe I might try to seek out the titanium head for it. I probably won't, that's super expensive. But I could look out for a deal and see if anything comes up. And then we'll look at the damaskin. I don't usually care too much that there are problems with any cases that come because I am a very functional person. I'm not using these things as collector's items. My razors don't sit around and just look nice. If I don't use them, I usually move them on to somebody else. I did, in the box here, I put a brand new Gem PTFE so that I can make sure that I try this out with the best, with a young blade. And so if I have any problems, then I know it's not the age of the blade. This one did come with a little holder and some blades in it, so that's neat. I don't know if this configuration is how it comes originally. with one that goes to the side, and then that makes room on the other side for the case. And that is actually a gem damaskin razor blade holder. It says gem damaskin on the side, so that's cool. A little authenticity there. And then if you're a regular watcher of my channel, then you've seen me use these kinds of razors here in the last few weeks, because I have come to learn how nice they are. I originally have seen these, of course, browsing eBay and other places ever since I started shopping around on the used market. I didn't really think that they looked very awesome, but that's growing on me. And I know that they shave well. So this is the Damaskin, and it is one that you tip over. I'm just being careful with it because this is actually the first time I've opened it. It's got a little bit of weight to it. This is obviously a solid handle, obvious to my hands, and so it does have some weight. It seems the balance is pretty nice. It doesn't seem like it's got a lot of weight in the head, as you can probably see. It's very thin metal up there, and you can tell it's the Damaskin because it says Damaskin in there. It says use only with gem damaskin blades, and it clamps shut. And then how you can date it is Gem Cutlery Company, New York, USA. That's what is written here. But when it says Gem Cutlery Company, then that's what tells you that it was made between 1916 and 1919. Because in 1920 or late 1919, they changed somebody bought out the company. The company changed names. I think American Safety Razor Company or something like that. Somebody else bought them, and so they changed this etching in the back to be slightly different. It still said Gem, but it didn't quite say Gem. It didn't say Gem Cutlery Company anymore. So that lets me date it, and so that's really neat. And I can't really wait to try this guy out. He's in great shape, as it turns out. Really nice condition. I got a good deal on it. It's kind of that 1912 design. Oh yeah, it says 1912 patent. You know, right around on the bottom right here where the handle screws in. They snuck that text in there. And this is not an easy to find razor. There aren't tons of these rolling around. The Damaskin, and so it's a little bit rare. And so I think it was a good find for me. And I look forward to trying it out. So we'll put him back in. Got the little gem, a little bit of a logo there. And like I said, I sometimes these weathered cases to me mean a little bit more, because I'm not trying to have some kind of show collection. The one thing I did want to mention, and now that I've gone through all of the items that I wanted to cover, I wanted to read some of the things on the box here for the Fine. They, of course, want to tout their aftershaves, but in certain circles, they get a lot of flack for their aftershaves. Number one, they bumped them up from like $16 or $15 to $20, and they don't seem to be, people don't think they really have too much good for your skin. It's mainly just kind of an alcohol and the fragrance, and so there's not as much benefit as a lot of other alcohol splashes that are out there. And a lot of guys apparently just aren't very fond of them. I'm not a great judge of that, but they might be right. So yeah, they're bragging about their aftershave, trying to cross-market their aftershave here on these flaps and this flap here. And then nothing beats a fine shave. That's kind of normal for them. And this is a 5-ounce container. This container is the one that, I believe it's the same one that you might see with the tubs of that cream, Castle Forbes, just a different color. I believe it's the same shape. I've seen a few other soaps have this kind of tub. It is common for things to share like that. So this big panel here says to use, first load your thoroughly dampened shaving brush with soap by vigorously working it over the product surface for 10 to 15 seconds. Then build a lather with continued vigorous brushwork in a bowl or directly on your face until no large bubbles remain. Proceed with shaving and enjoy. I thought that was actually kind of nice. They do mention something about building the lather until no large bubbles remain. I think that's a neat little bit to add to try to help people make sure they work the lather long enough. I thought that was nice. And 10 to 15 seconds might be a good time frame. So I think that's a reasonably good a bit of instruction there. Certainly better than that Mogno, right? What did it say? The Brito. It said apply to wet skin and rinse is the only part that it said in English. On this back panel here, made in Italy with premium ingredients, fine 21st century shave soap embodies the pinnacle of modern soap making and craftsmanship. It is easy building, thick and creamy lather. It's easy building, thick and creamy lather featuring hyper slickness, all-day skin conditioning, and Mr. Fine's signature fragrances. Delivers the ultimate in wet shaving, performance, and satisfaction. So again, he's using words like ultimate and pinnacle. I doubt it's going to be a competing crope in the upper echelons of the artisan cropes that we use. Also, somebody brought up an interesting point that in general you probably wouldn't want to refer to Fine as an artisan. And I agree with that. I thought about that for a second, and I agree with that. He's not crafting anything himself for the most part. The aquamarine scent was one that was developed by him, but all the other scents are duplicates of existing popular fragrances. The soap base for that classic hard puck was a copy of the Damask formula because it performed so well. I don't think there's too much original in stuff that he offers. It just so happens that he copied a great soap formula. His soap base is terrific. And then, of course, by only using fragrances that are popular, then, of course, he's got a nice selection of popular fragrances. But he's not an artisan. He's not really creating, is he? He's just rearranging and pulling from other people's work. And so I agreed with that point. Let's see, 12 months. Yeah, after you open it, according to the European standards there, you might see after 12 months a drop in performance or in some way. Let's see. And then this is 4 languages right here, and none of these 4 are in English. I'll try to get some of this translated to see what it says. So that's, here we got some stuff on the bottom. It does talk about the ingredients. The first one's water. Not surprising since it is a very soft product at this point. Stearic acid, coconut oil, castor oil. Now, castor oil is something some soap makers are starting to bring in to help it not to act like some of that old school soap, but have some nourishing and creamy type experience. Got the fragrance, the potassium hydroxide, mango seed butter, tallow acid, argan kernel oil, jojoba oil. Okay, so he's bringing in some interesting ingredients there. You know, good for your face, good for your skin, that sort of thing. And nothing else that really jumped out at me as super interesting. It did say that the coconut oil was a pretty forefront ingredient, and so those people that I mentioned earlier who don't like coconut oil might be avoiding this. So there we go. Those are going to be upcoming. looking forward to trying out all this gear. And I think I'm going to have to try out the Timeless first, especially because I have a 2-day growth on. And so that open comb might be well suited for this. However, the Damaskin is a single edge, and I'm going to bet with that nice new blade, it would easily make, excuse me, quick work of 2 days of growth. Sorry about that. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to this gear, and so I'm about to record the shave for tonight. But that's the upcoming gear, the mail call, to explain some stuff and allow everybody and me too to look forward to what's coming. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care.